Chapter 1: Lifting the Foot. This is probably the most important part of the whole walking step. So through this video series, we're going to go through the specific steps, in particular the 4 points that you hit with your foot. But in order to really get those, you gotta start right here before your foot hits the ground, the positioning of your foot. So this may seem odd to people, but before your heel hits the ground, you want to be lifting it up more than you think so. The muscle that you're accessing is the tibialis anterior. It's opposite of your calf. Your calf is in the back of your leg and the tibialis anterior is in the front. So working this muscle at first, many people have probably not done it before, and it's very difficult to do at first, because it's probably a muscle you have not worked before. And some of these muscles, in the whole walking process that we're going to be experiencing here, you may not have used before, or not used enough, and so they are very tight, and when you start working them, your feet will fatigue really fast. And this is one of them. But I've learned that this muscle does come undone rather quickly. Even just walking 50 feet or walking to the corner will be difficult at first. But like I've said, this muscle does open up quickly. An indicator that you're not doing this is if you already have tight calf muscles, tight hamstrings, experience some kind of low back sciatic issue, it is likely you are leaning back and you're standing on the back of your feet and you're not engaging the front leg muscles. And so how you do that is you have to lift your foot and that will pull your weight forward, and now you'll be able to access the full range of motion of your ankle, which is the most important part. When you're doing the walking series, you have to lift your foot all the way up and all the way back. And most people are not even doing this. I like to equate this to like you're catching a ball. So you're catching the earth. So you're opening your foot and grabbing it. The grabbing is going to come later, but right now it's squaring your foot to openly catch the earth. So this gets complicated really fast. I also liken this to math, where right now this is learning to add. So later on we're going to get into high division later on, but this is the basis. If you can't do this, it's going to be difficult to do the end of your stride. So just like you're not going to be able to catch the ball, you're not going to be able to take a full stride, and that is where a lot of these leg issues happens. I've also found that when people have an injury, what usually happens is no matter where the injury is, your hip, knee, and ankle will lock up to protect that leg. And the gate to opening that is moving your ankle. So your ankle is going to stiffen up, which means your hip is going to stiffen up as well. So if you have tight hips, you likely have tight ankles. So if you're tight somewhere in your ankles, it's going to be copied in your hip. So with an injury, after you've rehabbed it, inflammation has gone down, it's likely your whole leg is stiff, and the beginning to loosening up your leg is to move your ankle. A good self-care technique to do is grab your tibialis anterior and move your foot back and forth. So press into the pain, flex the pain. You want the full range of motion when moving your ankle. We're going to cover this more in the stretch flex technique, which we learn later, but this is a little piece of it. And the basis of what most of my rehab is about is accessing where the pain is and flex it. Pain is your guide. Pain is because you have flexed your muscle out of place. So now we need to flex it back into place. That is what pain is. So a big part of what I talk about is flexing your muscle into position, and this will resolve a lot of your pain. If you start feeling self-conscious and you feel like you're walking weird, it's likely you're doing it right. I I've had a bunch of people say like, hey, I did your technique and I walked 2 miles. Well, if you still have the pain, no, you did not do it right. You still got some work to do and you're still missing a technique. Some of these points are just so small, like a 1/16 of an inch, of an eighth of an inch is enough to cause a chronic pain. So slowing your walk down, engaging where the point is very key. So just have some patience, take your time. This is a process.